Hey y'all, thanks for joining. So today's video is all about the final decision. If you remember from earlier videos, I started with a list of 10 possible destinations, and in that video I whittled it down to my final 5. Well, I've made a decision. Stay tuned, watch until the end and you'll find out what that decision is. So, trip to Thailand was fantastic. It was one of the scouting trips that I promised you I was going to take. There are lots of videos. I'm going to link a playlist later on for you that you can see all about that trip and the things that I experienced and places I went and just incredible things that I saw. Fantastic trip. But let's get into today's topic. Today's topic is going from top 5 to final decision. Now, if you remember, my top 5 were Portugal, Panama, Bali, the Philippines, and Thailand, in no particular order. Here's your first clue. The name of the channel is retiring to Asia, so Portugal and Panama, well, they're out. Portugal was ruled out just because it was seasonal, right? Remember, my number 1 criteria has to be warm all the time. In that video, I talked about Portugal got a little cold for me on a few days. Wasn't real pleased with it. Panama, nice, close to home. You can watch the benefits that I talked about there. But all in all, it just doesn't stand up to the final 3. When I think about warm, beautiful destinations, I think of islands. I think of that blue water that's so clear. I think of the amazing landscapes. And the final 3, Bali, Thailand, and the Philippines, all have that. So let's narrow things down. How did I go from there? Well, Bali's out. Bali I ruled out because it's just small. I've been to Bali. I had that trip many years ago. I loved it. It's a beautiful place. It's getting really, really crowded. And the main drawback for me around Bali is that it's a tiny island. And once you've seen it and been around it, there's not a whole lot of new things to do or experience. Now, you couldn't experience it all and run out of things to do in a week or 2 or a month or 6 months. I could certainly live there for a while and enjoy it. But for a final retirement destination, I don't think it's for me. Getting out to other places is a little more difficult because you've almost got to fly from Bali to somewhere else and then on to your final destination from there. So from the perspective of availability of variety, it's not there, and then it's kind of limited on transportation for me. So that leaves me with 2, Philippines and Thailand. And if the logic for Bali was around having to fly everywhere and small island, well, you guessed it. I don't want to live in a big city, and the main draw for the Philippines for me are the beautiful little out islands. Same problem exists. You've got to get to and from that little out island, making ferry hops, little plane hops to get back to a big city, to get on a plane to go somewhere else if you want to travel to any other destination. So while it's affordable, while it's beautiful, it's just not as convenient as Thailand. Final destination, Thailand. Decision made. Now from this decision, I've got to decide where in Thailand. I know right off the bat, I'm not a mountain person and I'm not a big city person. So northern Thailand, Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, definitely going to visit, want to explore. We'll probably spend a lot of time there seeing the things that it has to offer and taking in those sights. Same thing with Bangkok. Don't want to live in Bangkok, don't like big city, don't like crowd, don't like traffic. But would I go there and stay there for a few weeks or weekends or go and visit? Absolutely. There's a lot to see, there's a lot to do there. Said before, I'm a beach person. I love that blue water. So now the decision is which beach. In this video playlist, you'll see some of the places I visited on my first trip back in April 2023. I went to Ao Nang, Krabi, I went to Phuket, and I also stayed in Jom Tien and Pattaya. All great places. I think of those places, I could rule out Phuket. Just wasn't a fan. It's very spread out, very touristy, and of all the places I visited, the most expensive. Same logic with big city. Pattaya, central Pattaya can get pretty crowded, and it can get a little bit on the jostling, busy side. Traffic can get kind of bad, especially in the high season when I was there with the tourists. So I don't think I want to be in central Pattaya. Ao Nang, Krabi, I only visited for one night, and then the next day was out on snorkel trip and boat ride, visiting different islands. I definitely want to go back there. I want to see more of that landscape. I want to explore that more and see if maybe there are good opportunities for me there, good locations where I would consider staying long-term as a retirement home. So Ao Nang, Krabi area still on the list. And Jom Tien. Jom Tien I thought was pretty impressive for being so close to the action and the busyness of Pattaya. Jom Tien was just a completely different vibe. It was much more laid back. The traffic wasn't as bad. Had a completely different feeling. Now, I've mentioned in several videos, I live in Richmond, Virginia right now. So for us, the beach is 2.5 hours away. Virginia Beach, 3.5 hours. You're in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. So for me, Pattaya is more like Virginia Beach, very crowded, very touristy, has that kind of feel to it compared to the Outer Banks, which is much more laid back, just a completely different vibe. It can get crowded, but it just has a different feeling to it. And that's my reasoning or my logic or how I felt about Pattaya and Jom Tien. So Virginia Beach, Outer Banks, Pattaya, Jom Tien. So Jom Tien, Ao Nang still on the list. I didn't get a chance to really go anywhere else. I still want to see places like Samui. I didn't get to Phi Phi. I don't think I would live on Phi Phi, but I certainly want to vacation there and explore that. But decision made. I'm going to Thailand. The timing's still up in the air. You will see about that in this video, about how timing has changed for me. So sometime between now and April 2024, I'm going to make the move. It could be as early as December this year. So end of 23 or very early January timeline of 2024, or as far out as April 2024. Stay tuned. I have other videos coming out. They're going to talk about all my planning and preparations. I'm going back to Thailand in September. I'm going to use that as another trip to explore more locations and try and narrow down the field of places that I would like to consider as a home, at least in the beginning. So stick with me, keep watching, and if you'll subscribe to the channel, thank you for everyone who has already. Surprised by the growth. I hope it continues. I hope you're enjoying these. And if you subscribe, hit that notification bell so that YouTube tells you when a new video has come out and you can follow along as we go. Lots of trip planning videos to come, lots of exploration once I get there. So come with me. It's going to be a fun ride.